Welcome to a chapter in 10. This is a new video series where I take a full chapter of the Bible and break it down in 10 minutes or less. If we are just meeting, my name is Paul. I am working on my PhD at Yale University, and the chapter for today is Psalm 16. I always like to begin by asking the what question, which is, what kind of a text is this? Well, for this psalm, we know that it is a psalm, which means it's poetry. It's not prose, it's not narrative. But more than that, this one reads like a prayer. Verse 1 reads, "Protect me, O God." Now, if you've observed, this is the standard structure of biblical prayer, where there is God on one side, and then there's the speaker, and there's a request in between them. But then here in this psalm, something else happens. In that the prayer grows, it moves beyond asking for help into affirming what the speaker believes about God, and even includes the speaker talking to themselves in prayer. Verses 5 through 6, for instance, says, "The Lord is my chosen portion and my cup. The boundary lines are falling for me in pleasant places. I have goodly heritage." This is all speech to oneself. What I would think of as a full-bodied prayer. The kind where you are not just talking to God, but also reminding yourself of what is true about God and God's work in the world. From verse 7 onward, the language gets richer and embodied even more. Key words like gladness, counsel, rejoicing, security, and pleasure. And then we get the body parts. We get heart, soul, and even kidneys in verse 7. Now let's take a moment to think about the word kidneys. For those of you who are interested in how biblical languages or Hebrew languages influences or informs meaning, the word kilyah, which is the Hebrew, is translated or literally translates as kidneys. Most translations choose heart or mind, and while that is great, I just would like to flag that there's already a Hebrew word for heart, which is the word lev. But I think the poets chose kilyah for a reason. Now, in the ancient world, including the broader cultures surrounding ancient Israel, kidneys were thought to be the seat of deep emotion or conscience or even decision-making. People didn't just think with their brains or feel with their hearts. They discerned complex matters or issues with their insights, with their guts. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. In many ancient Near Eastern cultures, priests or religious figures would literally examine animal kidneys through a practice called divination by entrails, in order to read messages or receive messages from the gods. So when the psalmist says, "Even at night, my kidneys instruct me," I think that he's borrowing from the broad cultural worldview to talk about a different kind of discernment. I think that the psalmist is affirming that God speaks to our whole selves, God speaks to our instincts, even the parts of our bodies that feel things before our minds can even explain them, aka our kidneys. Furthermore, in verses 5 through 6 onward, there's a powerful image that is introduced, one that uses spatial language, territorial language, words like portion or lot or boundary lines or heritage. These are, of course, metaphors, but they are not abstract metaphors. They are rooted in how people thought about land and inheritance. In a world where land was everything, the psalm says, some inherit land, some get a full cup of provision, but I have chosen God as my portion. And I think that is deeply profound, because to say that God is your portion is to say that even if I don't get land, as other people do, even if I don't inherit what others celebrate, I have something greater. I have God. One more point connected to this is in verse 11. "You show me the path of life. In your presence there's fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore." These are clear benefits for choosing God. Keywords: joy, guidance, security, rest, wisdom, presence. And we often hesitate to say it, but Psalm 16 reminds us that following God brings and confers benefits, not always the material kind of benefits, but real ones nonetheless. Now, before we wrap up, a little caution here. Verses 4 and 5 strike a relationship between those who choose other gods and those who choose an Israelite God, Yahweh, right? It says, those who choose another God multiply their sorrows. Now, it's very tempting to use this as a proof text to judge other people, especially those who differently believe or, are of different traditions or different faith traditions. And I would say that let us be careful. Yes, I think that this psalm affirms a particular kind of choice, but it doesn't give us the license to demonize the choices of other people. I think that sorrow happens to all of us, and it happens for various reasons, including but not limited to our choices. Now, I conclude with this, that Psalm 16, I think, is a reminder that God is our portion. God is my portion. And it is to say that when one says God is my portion, that I choose God and I trust in something much more deeper than what I see and experience. I walk a path shaped by God's presence, and I believe that's enough. Thank you for watching this episode. I'll see you in another episode. Peace out.